everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we will discuss the role of school-based education or SBE in promoting inclusive school. Basically, how SBE or school-based education can address inclusivities.
What if every child, regardless of their abilities, background, or circumstances, could receive quality education that truly meets their needs? Today, we are exploring how school based education revolutionizing exclusive learning.
School-based education or SBE isn't just an educational approach. It is a comprehensive framework that transforms our schools into a space where every student or child truly belongs.
Join us as we discover SBE and how it breaks down and create opportunities for all learners to succeed. The fundamental aspect that surrounds the curriculum and practices with inclusive education in real education.
Now, what is education? Education is a fundamental right and not a privilege. But how do we ensure every student, regardless of their abilities, background, or circumstances, has access to a quality education? The answer lies in a school-based education or SB in its powerful role in promoting inclusivity.
This is not just a dream, but it's a promise of inclusive based education. Today we are exploring how school based education is transforming our schools in Papua New Guinea into inclusive spaces where every learner can strive for.
But first, let's understand the challenges we are facing in our schools throughout the countries. Despite the progress in education, many students feel excluded. Learning needs aren't always met, and some children face barriers to participations, and teachers often lack proper supports and resources in the schools. And there are many more challenges that we face in our schools. In this video, we will discover what is SB or school-based education and why it is really matters, and the core of curriculum or SBE, how SBE can create a truly inclusive learning environment, especially the role of SBE, the key strategies, and also the challenges and strategies could take to promote inclusivities in schools, and also some recommendation to create an inclusive schools, and a conclusions how SBE can create or promote inclusivities in schools.
Okay, now, what is SBE? According to the pros and cons on online, SBC is an education or learning standards where is written with descript of what students are expected to know or able to do certain times in their education career. All right. The standards can be used as a reference point for planning, teaching, and learning programs, and for assessing students' progress, and also teacher sets targets and monitor achievements and develop programs that supports and improve students' learning. That is SBE.
Then why is SBE important? SBE or school-based education plays a crucial role in fostering inclusive education by creating a learning environments that accommodate all students regardless of their physical abilities, cognitive capabilities, socio-economical backgrounds, cultural difference, or other individual characteristics. That is SBE or school-based education. In PNC context, currently PNC is implementing the standard-based educations or SB in its education systems include early child learnings, elementaries and early child learnings, especially primaries and secondary schools. The natures of SB in PNC include structural and curriculum reforms. The government has embarked on a free compulsory education in 2015, and the level of resources will need to complement the school structures to enhance the standard of education and children in schools. The standard-based education structures is called 266, as includes 2 years of early child education, 6 years of primaries include grade 1 to grade 6, and 6 years of high school or secondary schools or secondary educations, include grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12.
All right. Co-curriculum comprises of the following. The first one is cognitive skills. Cognitive skills also include critical and creative thinking. The second one is reasoning, problem solving, and decision making skills. The third one is high level thinking skills, which means you can analyze, evaluate, and synthesize. The fourth one is 21st century skills, some of the 21st century skills. And the fifth one is STEM principles and skills. Sixth one is spiritual values and virtues. Seventh one is reading, writing, and communicating or communication skills. And the final one is essential values and attitudes.
Now, how SB role create a truly inclusive learning environment. And there are multiple roles that SBS play to create an inclusive education, so inclusive schools, include curriculum adaptations, professional developments, infrastructures and resources, and school cultural and community engagement. And it is not just this role, but there are multiple roles that SBS play to create an inclusive education. However, we will discuss only 3 points that highlights the role of SB that create an inclusive educations. The role of SB in inclusive educations. It allows for wide range of participation, includes special needs students, and reflect a high level of achievement and develop good social skills. What do we mean by this role? Is it enable personalized learning. SB allow for flexible teaching strategies that can adapt to different learning abilities. This personalization helps special needs students progress at their own pace, meeting their unique and strength while working to a high standard. It also set a clear expectation. This means setting special learning goals, help focus skills and knowledge, then comparison between students. This clarity benefits special needs students to stay motivated. It also allows for social developments in schools, also allow for inclusive assessments, using range of assessments to accommodate different learning styles and needs. And it also develop a high level of achievements that students can meet a standard. For instance, imagine in a class you have a regular disabled student where he or she want to take part in a school organized sports or an activities. You as an inclusive teachers must take this special needs student or handicapped students to be part of a organized activity or part of a organized sports activities. This will give both able and special needs students a way to know each other. However, you as a teachers or instructor regularly on students is some of the special needs students are fragile to handle in a certain way. This special needs student will get to know new friends and other people that say hi or hello in the playing ground or organized activity. This is also good way for social skills or social development, such as building new relationship, enhancing self-esteem and well-being, and excelling academically. This is an inclusive education, and many more have to be discussed.
The second role of SBE in inclusive education is standard-based education help teachers set targets and monitor achievement and develop programs that support and improve students' learning. Teachers can develop students' metacognition by allowing them to clearly examine how they think. According to a research, students was asked to brainstorm a particular topic thinking and was advised to record their ideas based on the topic. And they see that these students become more active thinkers and self-directed learners. Teachers can also reinforce students' metacognition by modeling it on a daily basis, talking through their own thinking as they address a particular problem, and then asking students to reflect their mind or accepting feedback from the learners. For example, a student participates in a class discussion of a book they read. This is where a student actively engages in the learning process by receiving and reacting to it.
C. Implementing flexibility or flexible curriculum design that accommodate different learning styles. Alright, now, to be active, curriculum must be relevant to students' life. To make curriculum relevant, teachers must generate meaningful topics that have important place in disciplinary study at end, influencing both the teachers and the learners. The relevance of specific topic is clear to students and they understand how it fits into the bigger pictures. As stated by Perkins in 2010, David Perkins utilized baseball as an analogy to explain that players must know how hitting, catching, and running base contributes to the game. Likewise, students need to understand how statistics fit into the bigger picture of mathematical thinking, and they must have sense of the value of mathematical thinking in the first place.
Okay. There are various challenges encountered when establishing or integrating inclusivity into standard based education. The first one is differentiated instructions to accommodate different learning paces and capabilities or abilities. Several core principles guide differentiated instructions are the first one is teachers should articulate what is essential for students to learn, which helps to link assessment to curriculum and instructions. The second is teachers should attend to student differences. The third one is students must participate in meaningful learning. The fourth one is teachers and students must collaborate, work together in learning process. The fifth one is teachers should be flexible in the use of groups and whole class discussion. And finally, differentiated instruction is proactive rather reactive, addressing learners' variance from the outset. Further, to ensure effective differentiated instructions, teachers should have the passion for teaching, provide a wide variety of materials and resources that can cater for each student needs, and this can foster effective learning in the classroom. And teachers should also monitor the student learning during and after the learning process.
The second strategy that SBE has to address inclusivity or inclusive school is integration of indigenous knowledge and cultural practices. What do we mean by these strategies? Is basically incorporating indigenous knowledge and cultural practices into SB or school-based education. Basically, we develop a curricula that reflects the local indigenous cultures, histories, and contributions. This can include lessons that highlight indigenous stories, language, and tradition. For instance, in science subject, we can develop a textbook that support or embrace cultural perspective in PNG that implement into schools. Adding more, involving indigenous communities members, elders, and educators into a curricular design process to ensure intensities and relevance, or establishing a strong relationship with local indigenous. This can include collaborative projects, guest speakers, and cultural events that promote mutual understanding and respect, or organize a school-wide events and celebration that honors indigenous cultures, such as National Indigenous People Day or cultural affairs. In this way, it paves the way for curricular development, cultural responsive teaching, community engagement, professional development for educators or teachers, and celebrating indigenous cultures. In this way, it creates a very responsive or very inclusive learning environment.
The next point, implementing standard-based assessment often necessitates professional development for educators. All right, this training can enhance teachers' instructional practice and improve their abilities to assess students learning effectively. That's according to Dalin Hammond 2006. Teachers' professional development is considered to be an integral part of teachers' development and preparations, which are oriented towards achieving effective schools in Papua New Guinea, PNG education context. Okay, for this reason, the University of Goroka in PNG has introduced the Lehara program for upskilling untrained teachers. It was discontinued for a while but revived in 2018 to 2019. Lahara session. Okay, because of high demand of untrained teachers to be properly trained, qualified, and ready to employed in PNG secondary schools, teachers purposefully upskills themselves and develop the relevant competencies to execute their professional tasks and responsibilities with, with ease and confidence. There are some of the major challenges encountered with establishing inclusive schools.
So these major challenges are identification and assessment of disabilities and additional learning needs, which can be physical, sensory, cognitive, social, emotional, and limited availability of specialized assistants, accessing schools and qualified teachers in remote areas, the challenge of inadequate resourcing, the challenge of non-inclusive environment or community, the challenge of class size, the challenge of diversity, and there are many more challenges.
Right. As a teacher, there are 5 strategies involved in SBE. The first one is understand, appreciate, care for, and respect your students. That's the first one. The second one is differentiate. You must be able to differentiate your students. The third one is to identify commonalities between students. What's the common activities that your students are doing? You have to identify them. The fourth one is to encourage cooperative learning. Students can learn if you cooperate or if they are cooperating. Okay, the fifth one is improve and exploit opportunities. These are 5 strategies.
To create an inclusive school or inclusive education, it is very challenging in PNGs and world as a whole. And it is not just meeting the needs of special students. However, there are a number of recommendations that we can create an inclusive schools. Number one is develop a comprehensive inclusive education policies. For instance, can be behavior management policies plan or a classroom discipline plans that embrace students, teachers, and can be parents and citizens or community as a whole. Number two is invest in teacher professional development. Number three is create an accessibility learning environment. Number four is establishing a strong supportive systems. Engaging all stakeholders in the process of teaching and learnings. Regularly monitoring and evaluation in assessments and school behavior management plans. And also set and implement best practices that both students, teachers can follow, and also maintain focus of continuous improvement in professional development and assessment monitoring. In this way, we can create an inclusive education or inclusive schools. In conclusion, school-based education has the power to transform our schools into truly inclusive space where every student can thrive. Together, we can create an educational environments that celebrate diversities, support all learners, and prepare every student for success. Remember, inclusive education isn't just about placing all students in the same classroom. It's about creating a learning environment where every student belongs and can reach their